We hear a lot of times nowadays, of course, my truth. Well, I need to speak my truth. Well, my truth, of course, is a horribly subjective truth, right? It's amazing when we look at, I think I mentioned earlier, I was just finished a book around memory and looking at how we perceive things. And several of the studies they've done, they said actually that eyewitnesses to a crime are actually sometimes the worst, one of the biggest issues, because they'll try to pull them in and you'll get conflicting testimonies from people who were all there at the same time, but got totally different perspectives on what happened. You know, he was wearing a black sweatshirt. No, he was wearing a white sweatshirt. He was tall. No, he was short. They take things in very differently because of their own perspective and how they experienced it, right? That subjectivity. Now, again, we want to be sensitive to people. For them, that was real. That is how they saw it. They just may not realize they had those glasses on, right? But for them, that was their truth. But again, that's why it matters. That may be your truth, but is that the truth? And of course, we see this in interpersonal relationships all the time, right? People get offended over something. I got to speak my truth. They did this to me. I'm going to come at them and tell everything, and I just got to speak my truth. And then it turns out, of course, it was a total misunderstanding. The other person's got a totally different perspective, didn't even know what you meant and what you said, and we've got a major offense going on that was really just a mistake in perception. The offense didn't even actually happen. The person just thought that it did. Do you know what I'm saying? We have this all the time in interpersonal. And again, who would ever think that that kind of interpersonal issue would actually relate back to, well, what do you believe about the nature of truth? Are we so stuck in our own perspective with our own glasses that we aren't open or aware that there might be some reality beyond what we know right now? I've seen this happen. This is an area the Lord's really worked on in me. I am very black and white. I tend to be, maybe you can tell, I like truth. I'm about justice. Let's speak it like it is. And I've been learning, the Lord has been tempering me over the last at least 10 years. You know, it's good to love truth, but how we present it really matters. Speak the truth in love. And also, even if something is so real to us, I remember certain points being blown away when I realized, oh my gosh, like I really perceived that this way, and it was actually a totally different way. Because we will skew things with our emotions. Our emotions are there to serve us, but not to run us. And often we will allow our emotions, our perceptions, our past hurts, to influence those glasses and my truth. And then I'm actually not able to perceive the reality of what's going on around me. So that is, again, but when I talk about this, I go, who would have thought that, when I talk about the nature of truth, and it sounds like some I don't know, again, hardcore philosophical, theological discussion of let's talk hermeneutics and da-da-da. No, nature of truth is actually very practical when we look at what does this actually mean in my personal life. This is not just what does it mean for legislation, right? It's also what does this mean for me. Axiomatic truth, if it's true in one area, it's true in another. That's how we can test things, right? If it works in the home, if it's correct in my self-government, we talk about jurisdictions, it applies in my self-government, it works here, it works in the family, it works in the marketplace, it works in the civil, it works in the church. Same principle, you can see it go all throughout. So often too, I remind people when we're listening to these kind of teachings, we may be thinking, oh yeah, that's right, we need to look at that for the legislation on that, and we need to vote this way, or we need to correct that theology. Yes, maybe, all true. But also, let's just remember to always have a mirror up, because this is always going to apply, here.